Welcome to Math 20 video lecture series. In this video, we're going to talk about the point function. And at the end of this lecture, a student will be able to locate the image of a real number under the point function. So, before we define the point function, let us recall the equation of a circle with radius r and center hk. So the standard equation of the circle with such properties is x minus h square plus y minus k square equal to r square. And for us to define the point function, we need the equation of the unit circle. So when we say unit circle, it is just a circle with center at the origin. So meaning our hk is 0, 0. So from the name itself, unit circle, unit, the radius is 1. Okay. So applying this one, we get x minus 0 square plus y minus 0 square equal to 1 square. Or, lakihan natin na onte. This is x square plus y square equal to 1. So the equation of the unit circle is x square plus y square is equal to 1. So, recall natin ano yung circumference ng unit circle. So the circumference of a circle muna is 2 pi r. So since ang radius ng unit circle is 1, the circumference will be 2 pi. So ready na tayong i-define yung point function natin. So yung point function, which we denote by t, is just a function that sends a real number to a point on the unit circle. So yung real number, dinedenote natin siya as theta. And yung image niya under the point function is p of theta. So, let's do this. Palitan natin color. Okay. So, the point function p, gaya na sinabi ko, is a function that sends a real number theta to a point p theta on the unit circle. So, yung p of theta na to, sabi natin point siya. So, yung x-coordinate niya, we denoted by x. Yung y-coordinate niya, we denoted by y. So, p is a function from r to r cross r. So, yung r cross r, siya lang yung Cartesian plane. And theta is sent to p of theta, which has coordinates x, y. So, yung question natin ngayon is, how does p send theta to p of theta? Okay. So, paano sinesend ni p yung real number doon sa point sa unit circle? So, yun yung sasagutin natin ngayon kung paano niya ginagawa yon. So, drawing tayo ng unit circle. So, let's say that's my unit circle. This is the y-axis. This is the x-axis. Okay, so kunyari, yan yung unit circle natin. So, since this is the unit circle, ang radius niya is 1. So, this point is 1, 0. Labelan natin. So, that is 1, 0. And we introduce a vertical line passing through this point. So kung color, violet. Ayan. So, that is our vertical line. So, this vertical line, tatawagin natin tong theta axis. Okay, theta axis siya. So, parang real number lang siya, pero patayo. So, ito yung positive, dito yung negative. So, yung sa unang case, let's say, theta is positive. So, if theta is positive, somewhere nandito lang siya. Okay? So, anong ginagawa ng point function dito sa theta na to? So, ang ginagawa lang niya is, yung point na to, papadala niya somewhere sa unit circle. So, itong segment na to, ang gagawin niya, ibabalot niya sa unit circle. And whatever the endpoint is, siya na yung tinatawag nating P of theta. So, yun yung sa case na theta is positive. Okay. And what happens if theta is negative? So, if theta is negative, so that is less than 0. Theta is less than 0. So, yung theta na natin, andito na siya sa ilalim. So, ganun lang ulit yung gagawin niya. So, from here, from 1, 0 to here, ibabalot niya lang sa unit circle to get this portion of the unit circle. At kung ano man yung endpoint niya, yan na yung tinatawag nating P of theta. Take note, P of theta is a point. And the length of this is the absolute value of theta. At kung yung kanina, yung theta mo nandito, or theta is positive, ang length din nito is absolute value of theta. So, bale, ang ginagawa ni point function, nagtitrace ka lang ng point, or naglo-locate ka lang ng point sa unit circle, which is absolute value of theta units from 1, 0. Tapos, you measure counterclockwise if theta is positive, and you measure clockwise if theta is negative. So, the length of this is absolute value of theta. Ito yung P of theta. Okay, so let's do some examples. Okay, sulat lang natin ulit yung summary, ha? Okay. So, P of theta is the point on the unit circle making an arc length of absolute value of theta from the point 1, 0 measured counterclockwise if theta is positive and clockwise if negative. Ayan. So, ngayon na tayo magsagot ng examples. Excited kanina. Okay, so let us give the value of the following P of thetas. So, for number 1, P of 0. P of 0, you measure 0 units away from 1, 0. So, that is exactly the point 1, 0. Okay. So, next, P of pi over 2. So, recall natin that the circumference of the unit circle is 2 pi. So, yung pi over 2 is 1/4 of the circumference of the unit circle. So, since pi over 2 is positive, we measure clockwise, counterclockwise from 1, 0. Tapos 1/4 ng unit circle. So, we end up at this point. And this point is 0, 1. Okay, next. P of pi. Pi is 1/2 of the circumference of the unit circle. So, from 1, 0, counterclockwise because pi is positive. So, we end up here. And this point is negative 1, 0. Okay, number 4. How about 3 pi over 2? So, this 3 pi over 2 is what part of 2 pi? I think it's 3/4 because 2 pi times 3 over 4, we get 3 pi over 2. So, yes. So, 3/4 nga siya ng unit circle, ng circumference ng unit circle. So, ilolocate natin yun from 1, 0 counterclockwise. So, dito tayo mag-end up. And this point is 0, negative 1. Okay, so yung huli sa mga positive na gagawin natin for today is 2 pi. So, 2 pi is equal to the circumference of the unit circle. So, we measure counterclockwise Tada! So, babalik lang tayo sa 1, 0. Bali, isang ikot siya ng unit circle. Okay, punta naman tayo dun sa mga negative. For example, P of negative pi over 2. The negative indicates yung direction kung paano natin ititrace yung point from 1, 0. So, negative, magtitrace tayo clockwise. So, pi over 2, sabi natin, 1/4 ng unit circle. 1/4 ng circumference ng unit circle. So, trace natin from here. Tapos, clockwise kasi negative. So, dito tayo mag-end up. And this point is 0, negative 1. Okay. So, next, P of negative pi. So, clockwise because it's negative. Pi is half of 2 pi. Ay. So, from here, ganyan. So, nasa negative 1, 0 tayo. Negative 3 pi over 2. Negative, clockwise, 3 pi over 2, 3/4 of 2 pi. Okay, so nandito tayo, which is 0, 1. And last, negative 2 pi. Isang ikot yan bale sa unit circle. Kasi the circumference is 2 pi. Pero yung direction natin from 1, 0 is clockwise. So we end up here. So that point is 1, 0. Okay, so recap natin yung ginawa natin. So, yung point function is just a function that sends a real number theta to a point p of theta on the unit circle. And kung paano siya nagsisend ng theta to p of theta, ito yung rule. So, p of theta is a point on the unit circle making an arc length of absolute value of theta from 1, 0 measured counterclockwise if theta is positive and clockwise if theta is negative. So, sana naiintindihan niyo yung lecture natin today. And don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. Bye!
Mag-like ba talaga sila?
Wala lang, hanash ko na.